Okay, hey guys, can you hear me clearly? Wait for 1 second, let me just check everything's fine. What's happening? Is everything fine? You can hear me? Okay, I think it's okay. A lot of people are saying big billion day sale is going on today. It seems like it definitely seems like it. We'll come to all of it, and we'll also look at the three news that is also there today, which is quite interesting. Actually, there's one random news that I would like to talk about, which is not a part of the news that I've chosen, but we'll talk about that also. Got it? Chalo, let's start. Let me just share my screen. Okay, working. Now, if you look at the Sensex today, it actually went up in the morning quite a bit. You even got a notification on your phone saying Sensex is up. It opened. It's reaching all-time high, and then you saw suddenly that it corrected today and came down. Nifty corrected by 44. Sensex corrected by 125, and Bank Nifty is still somewhat the same. It's at 143 rupees up. The reason why Bank Nifty is up is because of yesterday's announcement. Now, how many of you all know and understood and read about yesterday's announcement? Right? How many of you actually know about this? Because it is very important to understand what happened with that element. So let's do this. Let's start with the news. News number one. Now, news number one, I'm going to talk about a PLI scheme, right? So basically, PLI scheme was something that the government did a long time ago when it came out with all the budgets and tried to uplift the economy. All this happened at that point. Now look at this, right? White goods PLI scheme gets 600 crore worth of proposals. Basically, the stocks that we track, which is Dixon, is a part of this. So I wanted to tell you guys that. Now basically 31 companies have committed for investments of 5,000 crores for AC components, and 21 companies have committed for investments of 871 crores for LED components. Why? Because people are believing that the LED component, segment in the future, the lighting segment in the future is going to do really well. And if you look at this, companies such as Daikin, Hindalco, Panasonic, Hitachi, Voltas, which is listed as well, Dixon, Havells, you can check out all of these. So basically the entire budget is going to be for 6,238 crores. And a lot of people are saying that the LED segment is going to do really well in the future. And this is going to really help the government also a lot and help these manufacturers a lot. The scheme will generate approximately 2 lakh direct and indirect employment opportunities over the next 5 years. Right? So this is very interesting. But again, this is not the best news for me. The best news for me is the next news, right? The next news is, let me go slowly. One name, Shanti. A lady. Now, another thing is that analysts also are very happy about the PLI scheme, especially auto analysts are very happy about the PLI scheme. Why? Because with the PLI scheme, the adoption of electric vehicles is going to do really well. Right? Or look at this, the adoption of electric vehicles are going to do really well. Why? Because the entire production linked scheme that is there, right? The entire production linked scheme is worth 26,000 crores, right? And 26,000 crores, if you look at this, it is going to lay a strong foundation for electric vehicles to do really well. If you look at that, all the companies like Motilal Oswal, Kotak Securities, ICICI, Geojit, and Antique Broking, I don't know what Antique Broking is, but all of these companies have said that this is very good and it is good for the economy. Now, if you look at the winners, Kotak has picked a few winners. Now, in those winners, there's Bosch, Minda, Endurance Tech, which is a tech company, and Varroc Engineering, whereas other people have picked Bajaj Auto, TVS Motors, Tata Motors, the typical traditional ones. But this is apparently going to help a lot, because to avail these schemes, original equipment manufacturers, OEMs, should have a minimum of 10,000 crores in revenue to even apply for this. Right? Should have a 10,000 crores in revenue to even apply for this, and 300 crores investment in fixed assets should be there. So these are some important things to look at, especially for the future, because all of this is going to affect the future. Now, the incentives offered under the auto PLI scheme are lower than the original planned incentive of 57,000 crores. That is completely fine. But from a futuristic perspective, we need to understand whether this will do well for the industry and whether this will boost the entire electric vehicle segment. Okay, now are you ready for the most important? I'm so excited to tell this news to someone because I'm not understanding this properly. But let's understand this in the next news. Okay, news number 2. Yesterday's thing happened. Do you guys remember what happened yesterday? 5 p.m. when I came live, even Nirmala ma'am came live at the same point, and she spoke about bad banks, right? Now, I don't know how many of you all understand the concept of bad banks. Do you guys understand the concept of bad banks? If not, let me first show you a simple article about what's good about a bad bank, right? Let's understand what a bad bank is first. And before we understand that, let me give you a quick revision of bad bank. So basically banks, okay, let me give you a quick example. Banks are there. Now banks, mainly how do they make money? They have to give loans, right? They have to give loans to people and they will make money from that, right? Or whatever they give loans to. So basically when me as an investor, assume HDFC Bank, okay, if I am depositing some amount of money in fixed deposits, right, I am putting some money in fixed deposit and they give me 3 or 4% on that savings account, or fixed deposit 3-4%. Now they take that money and they lend it to, say, someone called Rahul, and then Rahul has to pay maybe 12 to 13% interest on that loan amount, right? Interest on that same money. Now whatever the difference they make, 12% minus 5%, is the profit that the bank makes. Now all this is very interesting and very nice to look at, right? But tomorrow what if some problem happens and Rahul says, boss, I don't know, I can't give you this money at all, I cannot give you, I'm bankrupt, I have no money what to do as well. So the bad bank will be like, dude, you told me you'll give me at 12%, you said you'll give me every month, suddenly kya ho gaya? And the bank will be like, shit, this is a bad loan now, right? So this bad loan is also known as something in technical terms known as NPAs, which is also known as non-performing asset, okay, NPAs. Now this non-performing asset, basically Rahul becomes a non-performing asset. Now banks give loans to a lot of people, not only individuals. I'm not talking about Rahul. It can maybe give it to some company also, right? It can give working capital loans to a company and then that company went bankrupt tomorrow. And we have seen that a lot of banks give big loans, especially public sector banks give big loans to a lot of people, and then they take that money, book a chartered flight and leave the country and go away, right? So all of this is coming from taxpayers' money. So understand this. Now what happens is when there's a bad loan and you realize, oh, this Rahul is not going to give my money back, this is going to be interesting, what do I do with this Rahul? So what the government says is, whenever you think there is a bad loan, right, if you have an NPA, which is a non-performing asset, bad debts, right, this is the same as bad debts. I'm just making it more easy to understand. Bad debts or bad... Hello? Okay, this is very interesting. Yeah, my OBS just crashed. Can you see me now? Sorry, my bad. My software just crashed. No, it was not a lag. It was this weird broadcasting software system that I use is back. Okay, cool. So basically now what happens is, now if I am investing in the stock of a particular bank, I'll be like, you know what, this HDFC bank, they have only 1% non-performing asset. That means this is a very good bank. There are some banks that have more than 10% non-performing asset. 10% non-performing asset means if I've given loans of 1000 crores, then 100 crores is non-performing asset, which is very bad, because who gives you that money? Now, most of the public sector banks do that, right? Now, when the public sector bank does not have money, the government used to usually come, SBI used to come and say, take this money and refill your pocket. But now what used to happen is, all of us used to figure this out and say, hey, this is very bad, whatever this bank or that bank, you're doing very bad loans and all that. And also their balance sheet used to look bad. Now what happens is, if I'm a bank, okay, who's bad, if I have 10% NPA and I'm a bad bank, right? Next time I'm going to give someone a loan, I'll be scared. I'll be like, मैं और check करूँगा और due diligence करूँगा. My flexibility goes away. My freedom goes away to issue loans. And because of that, it might go into a downward spiral. Now, that is what is explained in this document as well, right? Not document, but this is a thing. So to understand this, let's understand two things have been set up here. One is called NARCL. It is called National Asset Reconstruction Company. Now you understood what a bank and bad bank is. Now we'll see what is this game happening here. Okay, there's NARCL. And the other one is one more company is called Indian Debt Resolution Company, IDRCL. Now these two companies are set up and this is the new bad bank structure, right? Now, what is the scary part here? Okay, now let me tell you what the bad bank is. Okay, now what the bad bank basically says is that, you know what, XYZ bank, you have 10% NPA. Why don't you do one thing? Why don't you give it all to us, right? We are a bad bank. You have 1000 crores worth of bad loans, right? Bad debts. I'm NARCL and I'll be like, you know what, give me this 1000 crores. I'll take it from you. In fact, for giving me this entire bad loan. Now these bad loans are all the people who you might not recover this money from. So the NARCL says, give me this 1000 crores of bad assets. I will give you 15% upfront cash and 85% I'll give you a security deposit of the government, security receipt of a government security receipt backed by government. So I'll be like, okay, cool. That means 1000 crores mein se 150 crores you give it to me, right? Full cash I'm getting, and 850 crores I get as a security receipt, right? Now from my books of accounts, suddenly this bad loan is gone. But this bad loan in reality is not gone. It is just sitting in a new bank account, or it is sitting in a new account called NARCL. Now NARCL and IDRCL, these two guys will try to figure out how to take these stress assets and either recover the money, or if they can't recover the money, they will try selling it back into the market. Okay, they will try selling it back into the market. Now when they sell this back into the market, the chances that it will be profitable is very low, right? Because it's a bad bank, so you'll be a discounted thing always, right? It's like auction mein ja raha hai. Now they will sell all of this, okay, at a very discounted rate. Now assume they took my 1000 crores, gave me 150 upfront, and the 1000 crores they could only be able to sell it for 500 crores, right? Only 500 crores they could sell it for. But they've given me a deposit guarantee of 85%, which is 850 crores. The government will from its pocket give that 350 crores extra also back to this bank, right? So the bank is very happy. So either which way, the bank is doing haath saaf, right? Bank is doing haath saaf. Now all of this money is going into the bad bank, and bad bank will try to recover. How much they could recover is great. If they can't recover, the difference they give it back to the government. Right now, how is this selling process? Either through an auction, or they'll try to find bidders and lenders who can buy it at a cheap rate. Now see, Jet Airways, someone bought it at a very cheap rate, discounted rate. Reliance last year bought Alok Industries at a very cheap rate, and the lenders got an 80% haircut, but got some money. So this is what it is. Now, look at the funny part. Now all this you understood, basic premise of bad bank you understood, takes the loans and keeps it there. Now the problem here is, okay, because NPA in the non-performing assets in the last few years from 2005 to 2006 currently has gone up to almost 10 to 12%, which is quite high. That means 10 to 12% of all the all the loans given might not come back. And by the way, lot of other people are saying that, is this weird? Because the banks suddenly will look good. Correct? The banks suddenly don't have any bad loans in their bank account. Right now, they'll again take this money that they get, this 150 crores they'll take, and they'll start issuing loans again. Now, can someone in the chat tell me what is fundamentally wrong here? Right? Can someone in the chat tell me, I want to see who's smart in this. Can someone tell me out of this whole concept of bad bank, what was the problem here? Or what is fundamentally not right? Or what do you think is not making sense? Okay, so I want to see from the chat. Meanwhile, I'll go to that big article. Okay, see this. Now this basically says government backs NARCL with 30,000 crores guarantee for 5 years, right? Now, okay, I'm looking at the taxpayers' money is there, government paying our taxpayers' money, that is also there. All that is correct. But the fundamental problem here, okay, the fundamental problem here is that it is not solving the issue. What is the issue? That the public sector banks are giving loans to people and the NPAs are so high. That means you're not giving loans properly, right? You're giving loans to anyone and everyone, and you're not getting proper money back, right? Whereas if you look at private sector banks have very less loans, very less non-performing assets. Why? Because they give it to good people and they check everything. So the fundamental problem of bad loans or fundamental problem is still going to be there. It is still going to exist. Now tomorrow these banks will take all this money and go give it again. Fundamentally it's still wrong, and again the bad bank, again they'll make another 1000 crores loss. Again bad bank will be like, main hu na, I'll take it from you, right? And they will take it, but all this is going from whom? In the end of the day, it's still going from taxpayers' money. Now let's look at this. Government backs NARCL with 30,000 crores guarantee for 5 years. Now I'll only look at the key points here. Okay, I'll only look at the key points here. One sec. NARCL to acquire assets by making an offer to the lead bank, which is the main bank. Okay, once the offer is accepted, the Indian Debt Resolution Company, right, which is IDRC. Now IDRC is a company in which public sector banks will hold 49% stake in that company also. Why do you think public sector banks are holding 41% stake in this IDRC? Because IDRC is the one that will actually do all the negotiations and try to sell it at a good rate. And the reason why 49% is mostly by PSBs, which is public sector bank, is because most of the bad loans is by public sector bank itself, right? Now look at this, right? All this is fine. One more very weird thing I saw. Yeah, the NARCL will acquire stressed assets of around 2 trillion in phases, 2 trillion rupees in phases, and these soured loans would be transferred by paying 15% cash upfront to the lenders, and remaining 85% would be paid through security receipts, which is obviously the difference, right? That's like a backing of the government itself. Now that is all fine. Now let me go down. Let me show you some other weird things that I read. Now look at this, guys. Now you understood that NARCL gives 15% upfront, right? and takes it on NARCL, right? And then NARCL along with debt resolution, IRDC or whatever that is. I keep forgetting the names. There's so many names. Yeah, the Indian debt, IDRC, they together try to resolve this, right? Now look at one more thing. What they're also saying is that beyond 5 years, if the NARCL delays the resolution process and they cannot do the resolution and NARCL are not able to pay this money back, then what is going to happen is if the resolution cannot happen, then they also have to pay some amount, some percentage. So look at this, to disincentivize delays in the process, the NARCL has to pay a guarantee fee which will increase over time. The fee has been proposed at 0.25% of outstanding guarantees. Second year it will become 1%, then 2%, and like that it keeps going to 4-5%, right? So not only am I taking money from the bad banks and trying to resolve this, but if I don't resolve this on time, and then I have to start paying, I have to pay back some fee also to the bank again. So in this, the banks are benefiting like there's no tomorrow, right? But the fundamental problem has not changed. The fundamental problem is that the stress assets, the banks are not doing properly and giving loans to proper people, and that is what the main issue is, which is still not solved, right? So these are the things that have happened, and I don't know, it feels like it's just taking all the kachra, and so it's like basically taking all the kachra from everyone's houses and keeping it into one central kachra unit, right? And then asking some scrap people, okay, do you want this? I got one kachra from here, I got one kachra from there. Do you want to buy this in the scrap market or in the secondary market? So that is exactly what they're doing. They're taking all the stressed assets which are gone bad, putting it into under one thing, and then trying to sell this back to someone else and be like, kisi ko chahiye kya, 50% off, 60% off, 70% off pe bik raha hai. So it is basically like an auction. Now whatever the money is goes back to these people, and they also have fun and everyone's enjoying this, but it still doesn't solve the fundamental issue as to why private sector banks have a better NPA. Private sector banks have better NPA than public sector banks. That is a big question, right? Now, okay. Now one more problem that I saw here. Okay, one more problem that I saw here which little scared me of Harshad Mehta time, right? It also says that these security receipts, that 85% security receipt that a bank gets is also tradable. These security receipts are also tradable, right? This is just a receipt. It is not something I can go cash out tomorrow, right? But the thing is, the security receipts are also tradable. Now, I don't know this entire concept. I'm looking at it and it just looks like fundamentally nothing has changed, right? Fundamentally, the bank should change fundamentally, right? And I would still look at the historical NPA and then figure out. So these receipts देख के मेरे को डर लगता है because Harshad Mehta scam पे भी something very similar had happened. Someone saying money heist देखा. But again, this was news number 2 and I don't understand this quite clearly. I'm trying to understand more. So I think when I try to understand this more, I will come and tell you guys as well, right? This is what I'm looking at right now. Now, that was news number 2. Now coming to news number 3, which is little funny news. Okay, coming to news number 3. A county in China is basically giving cash to couples to have more babies, right? So basically what they're saying is that if you have 3 babies, we will give you money, and not only money, we'll give you lump sum money, we'll also take care of the education, we'll take care of few more benefits up to 3 years old, right? Now the reason why this is happening in China, and you'll be like, Shashank, China's population is so much, why do they want to get more kids, and why do they want to get more children and blow the population up even more, right? The reason being that the country in Western China will give cash subsidies to couples to have children because the population of the country is set to decline in the coming years. The reason why this is happening, for you everyone to understand about population is great. China has a massive population. India has a very big population, but China, if you look at the distribution of age of the population, right? Their entire China's age, the average age group, the majority of people who are working are all old people, right? Plus they live for a long period of time, but they also are old generation, right? They're old people. And this is, why is this bad for a country? Because it is all incentivized through finance. Because if I'll tell you this, right? If you're an old person, right? As soon as you become 60, you take money from the government, which is all your pension that you saved up from so many years. Maybe you'll get some health benefits also. What happens is it is a cash outflow for the country, right? Cash outflow that is going from the PPF account or 401k that is there in US goes back into your account. Now in US, UK and Europe, they even have NHS, which is takes care of their entire medical. They have Obamacare type of thing, right? NHS, where it takes care of all their medical. So it is a big expense for them also. And their majority of the population in China is the older population, right? So now they're trying to incentivize kids so that people can increase the population. And China is basically known for its cheap labor. So now if the majority of the workforce is old, that means they'll stop working in the next few years, and the young workforce is very less. Whereas India is amazing because we have only young India, young Bharat, and a lot of young workforce, right? So it is very good. So India already is winning. If you look at the India-China battle that is happening, COVID was like a blessing in disguise for India. Why? Because when COVID happened, a lot of people realized that we will come to India, and India became the next manufacturing hub, right? We were not as cheap as China, right? We were not as cheap as China. The reason being China is very cheap when it comes to labor. But then people realized, boss, अगर कल मेरे को China is giving some product at 50 rupees and India is giving the product at 53 rupees, I'll still take it from Indian customer at 53 rupees. Why? Because quality is assured. And if you've realized this, I don't know how many of you have seen this, but there is this basic customer trend in India, right? Not only India, around the world, where now consumers, people like me and you, prefer quality over cheap quality, like good quality over bad quality, and I'm ready to pay 3-4 rupees or 10% extra for something that is good quality, right? And I don't want something that can break in the next few years. So people are realizing this, companies have realized this, and everything's happening. So as soon as China is already having a big issue right now because of COVID, we have taken advantage of that. Now India also has young workforce, so that is also coming up, startup ecosystem. A lot of IT companies are coming and giving business to India, from China to India. Now the same problem is happening with China. Now they're suffering there, and their majority of their entire thing is going to go down. So their cheap labor problem will become expensive labor, and that means that India is now India's time for the next few years to really shine in the market and become a global manufacturing hub. That is why a lot of people are coming to, a lot of people want to come to India. Yes, skilled labors are also very, very big in China, and all of these skilled labors, now it all depends on how it works. So we want to see how the majority of the older population might fade away in the next few years. So that is why China is pushing it so much, right? So we are in good shape. We have young population, young India, young Bharat. All of you all sitting here and learning about finance is what is amazing, right? So this was the 3 news articles for the day. Now I want to show you something else. This is something actually Debjani actually spotted, right? So I want to show you something else. Do you know that Nifty or any kind of market always moves, if you look at history, it always moves like this, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down. Technical analysis, it always goes up and down, up and down. It's not a single upline, but overall it goes up, right? Now see this funny thing, and I'll show you something. This is Nifty's, I've put it as 1 month chart to look at Nifty's entire progress from 2003 to 2021 right now. This is Nifty from 2003 to 2021. And Nifty usually trades in a normal channel, right? What is a channel? It goes like this, right? Goes up, goes down, trades in that entire channel, right? It trades in this channel. Now, every time it went above the channel, say for example, in 2007, this was when by the way, look at this. When did it go above the channel? When the entire 2007, just before the 2008 crash, it went up in 2007. And then the 2008 crash happened, and then boom, came down from approximately 6,000 to, in the next 1 year, in the same year, it went to 6,000 to 2,000 bucks. Right, it went down a lot. Then we saw everything trading in a channel, went up, then corrected a little bit, the bull markets and the bull market, and then slow bad market, and then bull, but tried going up, came down, tried going up, came down, then COVID happened, and then it went here 12,800, and then from 12,800 it should have come back to around 11,000, 10,000, and then gone up to 14,000, but suddenly it has gone up a bit too much, right? Now I've been saying this from the past, that something is not right, it doesn't make sense. Whenever the market doesn't make sense, it just doesn't make sense. And that is when most of the people are a little blind when it comes to that the market has gone too much, a bit too much, right? Now, if this correction happens and it always trades in a channel like this, right, it has to eventually come back here. It has to eventually come back into the channel. Now, the channel can keep rising, right? The channel can keep going up like this, channel can keep going up, but this can keep going up, but the more it goes, the harder it's going to fall. So whenever it falls, it is going to fall back towards this channel. At least it's going to come back into it, but the fall looks like it's at least a 30 to 40% correction fall, right? If it falls tomorrow at 17,500, has to come back to at least 13,500, 4,000 points. it might not happen right now, right? This entire thing is not happening from today. This entire thing has gone up from November 2020. It broke the channel. From November 2020, we're almost at November 2021, and it's not gone down. So this entire phase, right? What do you call that? Let me show you this. This entire phase. One sec. This entire phase, right? This entire phase of 37% ऊपर जो गया है, this is something that is unhealthy. This extra 37% that's gone is unhealthy, right? If this is gone so much, then it has to come down also a little bit to maintain this equilibrium, because all over this, over years, it has not broken this, right? So it looks very weird is what I'm saying. That's why I said when it fell down, it went back up too fast, right? If you look at 2008 crash, it didn't go up so fast. It took time to reach the peak. Here, bloody in 3-4 months only, it went back up to peak. So this is what is weird. Now it's a breakout. A lot of people are saying breakout, but it's not a breakout, because this Nifty usually trades in a channel. And if it is a breakout, then breakout ko zyada hi breakout hua hai, right? I understand if you're saying logic of breakout. In the last 10 years, it has not broken out. 15 years, it has not broken out. But I don't know, it's just weird. I'm just saying it's weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll just keep going up. I have no idea. Maybe I'm wrong with assuming this. I'm not saying this is what is going to happen. Even I don't know, and I cannot time the markets. But I'm just saying it looks weird. Maybe a new trend. Maybe this will form a new trend. That is also possible. But again, I don't know. But let's see. I'm just saying be careful. If you're trying to invest a lot of money, I would say start blocking it. Start doing it in small lumps, small SIPs. Don't do a massive amount. Save that massive amount for a bigger thing, right? Okay, guys. So this was the entire news of the day. Hope you guys understood. Hope you guys learned what bad bank was. Now, if you want to do some chit chat, I usually do a 30-minute chit chat on the Scenes app. I put the link here. You can join my community and I'll see you there. I take a few people on stage and answer any questions there. Okay. I hope you guys learned this. If you did learn something today, please click on the like button. 370 people watching, 68 likes, 87 likes. Quite disappointing for me. But if you like this, please click on the like channel and the subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Okay. This is me, Shashank Udupa, signing off. Bye guys.